something that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's sort of been around for thousands and thousands of years. There really isn't any documented written information, but it is a known fact that the ancient Egyptians used to practice alchemy. Really, alchemy, or transmutation as they call it, is people associate alchemy with the transformation of a base metal into gold. So really that was the idea that people would run with. But a lot of people that study in depthly more alchemy, it's really transforming yourself into something better or something bigger. And Alexander the Great as well used to travel when he was conquering the world with his Greek philosophers that were learning about alchemy, etc. Somebody that else that is close and dear to my heart is Dr. John Dee, born in 1527, I think it's July 14th or July 15th in London, was a key practitioner of alchemy. I mean, he wasn't the most famous practitioner of alchemy, but he is one of the most that kind of comes to my mind. As you know, he was the key advisor, astrologer to Queen Elizabeth I. His father was actually a Welshman that was a footman to Elizabeth I's father, King Edward VIII. So really, alchemy really starts with the beginning of time and people's fascination with chemicals and turning base metals into these magical formulas. Another key figure in alchemy was Mary Sidney. People don't associate women with alchemy because you think of the Philosopher's Stone and all these wizards, Harry Potter, etc. But Mary Sidney really, in the 1500s, was doing a lot of chemical experiments in regards to metals, and she was actually well known for practicing alchemy. And there are very few alchemists left today, but there are some people that practice it. I just heard something from a mutual friend yesterday about in Paris, just close to where the Cathedral du Notre Dame is, that there is a whole street of people since the Middle Ages that have been practicing alchemy, vampirism, and werewolf lore. So there are people still practicing alchemy, and it is a fascinating subject in regards to transforming metals. And I really like to look at it as transforming yourself into something bigger and better. And they say that, you know, as we go through our day and from birth to death, we leave chemical particles of ourselves throughout everything that we do in our life. So really, you know, we practice alchemy each and every day without us even realizing it, because we sit down and we have breakfast every morning, and it's a form of alchemy because we're doing something to better ourselves. So really, it's more than transforming base metals.
But when alchemy like first started because people were trying to make gold? Was that accurate? Like in
Well,
the early
well,
days, they were trying to make gold out of something.
Well, alchemy is again using lead or a base metal into trying to magically transform it into gold to make a poor man's gold. I mean, that's what everybody views as alchemy, but it's a lot more. I mean, alchemy involves grimoires. And I mean, the most famous grimoire was the Key of Solomon, where there was angelic texts and instructions, incantation. So that's a form. Spell making is a form of alchemy because you're transforming words into magical powers. So alchemy means a lot more than metals.
And so, who was the most famous alchemist that you've heard of?
Well, it would be Mary Sidney. I mean, being a woman, she was very famous in the 1520s, and I mean, she was well known that people would come to her in regards to alchemy and doing all these chemical transformations, which was very rare in that time for a woman to be practicing it. Either her or Dr. John Dee.
Dr. John Dee was the advisor to Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth I, and he's, you know, he started out with alchemy and transforming chemicals and did a lot of things with Queen Elizabeth, and then he moved more into his Anunnaki alphabet after that.
But the alchemy, does it help with medical illnesses?
I mean, you can use doing medical, how do you say, when you do medicines is a form of alchemy. You're creating from a plant base into a pill is a form of alchemy, because you're taking a substance from nature and you're transforming it into something that we can cure cancer with. So basically, medicines and stuff like that is a form of alchemy.
And so, how does alchemy relate to like what we do in paranormal research?
Well, for myself personally, when I go into a location, I do meditation, I prepare myself. So that's a form of personal alchemy, because I am transforming my body or my temple into something more than it, more powerful to kind of ward off evil type of a thing. And you don't do any of that.
No, I just let the evil attach itself to me, and I guess that's a way. That's kind of my alchemy, I guess. So I transform my body into something a lot more dangerous.
Well, which is all well and good. I mean, I'm glad you can do that, but you're creating alchemy because you're just building different layers of evil. And I mean, God help us, what's that's going to turn into after, God help the world type of a thing. But yeah, we all practice alchemy in our everyday life because, we all want to be happy. We all have goals in our life. So that is our goals and our dreams that we want to achieve would be our base metal, and then we build from our base metal. Like today, or if somebody wants to lose weight, they're going to say, well, I'm going to do this, and it's a form of personal alchemy, because you're going to do all these things to try and accomplish the end goal of losing weight.
And it's like Alexandria said, like she prepares herself. That's her version, and I just allow the attachments, which I don't recommend anybody to do, because who knows what you can become by letting things attach to you. And we doing the videos from various motels on this road trip that we're doing, and we took time to do this video. And we're on the road traveling, doing paranormal investigations and stuff like that. And so, you got anything else you want to say about it?
Well, really look more into the idea of alchemy and really strip apart what alchemy means. I mean, we all are, the first thing we think of course, is turning something into gold, but, strip that away and really see what's really going on with the term alchemy. And like I said, it's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Spell casting, making potions, doing all these things, that's all a form of alchemy that comes under the umbrella of alchemy. So really, that word should kind of teach you to don't take a word for face value. Always seek answers and always uncover answers. I mean, people, like I said, Alexander the Great, when he was conquering the world, I mean, he had people around him that were trying to teach him about alchemy. Hitler was interested in alchemy and the occult, because he thought if he could transform all these insignificant metals into gold, that could finance him winning the war. So he seen the power and the potential in the knowledge of alchemy, as do Sir Isaac Newton. All these famous physicists and all these people throughout time, Sir Isaac Newton knew the value of alchemy, and they practiced alchemy. And you have to remember too, in the Middle Ages, when Dr. John Dee, actually he was being persecuted and he was thrown in prison several times for sorcery. Anybody that practiced alchemy in the Middle Ages was considered a sorcerer, and you could have been burnt at the stake. So I mean, to seek knowledge, there's always a price, and you have to take that in your own personal life and always seek answers if you can, because there's more out there than meets the eye.